Let's have a look at this kit from Corsair. This is a DDR5 memory. There are 4 sticks of 16. We will go to the BIOS, check some settings, test them, and also check how you can change certain settings from the Corsair IQ software. So inside the box, what do you get are only the 4 sticks, nothing else, and probably some papers, sure, some safety papers inside there and nothing else. So this kit is a 4 stick kit, and we will check them how they are going to perform, because as you might know, 4 sticks not always are performing as good as we might want. As we can see, we have this brushed aluminum, if I'm not wrong. Here we have some specs, and here of course the Corsair logo, Dominator, and whatever else. And here there are 12 LED Capelix RGB lightnings. So we will install this into the system and check how you can change certain settings through the IQ interface, and possibly change also the timings through the IQ. Before diving into other details on the Corsair Dominator Platinum DDR5 6600 C32, I wanted to ask you guys a huge favor. Almost 90% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. In case you did like the content, I would highly appreciate if you consider subscribing. It takes 1 second to click on the subscribe button, and that will help a lot the channel and allow me to bring more content like this. Thanks a lot for your support. Before going and checking some settings on IQ, the first thing that you have to do is entering on your BIOS. Here we have the MSI motherboard, but most of the motherboards, they are pretty similar for changing the values of the memory. So in my case, I'm applying the XM Profile 1, and this is the easy mode, but you can go on advanced and change certain values. One thing that I recommend you guys is to start with what is the default settings. In this case, I'm just choosing the Profile 1, and everything is basically in auto. So I just want the memory to be tested before changing all the values, because you are then sure that memory is not having errors and it's not creating issues on your system. So you have to run the OCCT or whatever else software you are using for just testing the memory and just checking that with the Profile 1 enabled, the Corsair Dominator are not giving any issues on your system and are not making the system unstable. So let's move back to Windows and go through IQ. Alright guys, once changing the settings on the BIOS, then we have to open IQ and check other settings here just by clicking simply over the memory. So as we can see guys, here the first submenu we have is the dim setup. You have the lights here so you can identify the memories where they are installed, and here we can change also the dim layout. For me it's 1:4. And moving to the other submenu, we have the lightning effects. Here you can change the lightning effects. You can go between a ton of lightning effects. You can lightning link with other device, with other IQ device, so you can make your custom lighting, or you can go through the presets. There are some nice effects on the presets. You can choose whatever you like the most. And on the hardware lighting is the same thing as on the lightning effects, but this will take place whenever you are closing IQ. So when you close IQ, these light effects are going to be applied to the sticks. In the cooling submenu, we have some information about the memory. So here we have the temps of the sticks, of the 4 sticks. This is the first one, and then this is the last one. As we can see, these 2 sticks here have almost 2 degrees more than other sticks, because these are the sticks that are in the middle of the other 2 sticks. So sure thing, they are going to have a higher temps because the heat is not being dissipated properly. Here we have some information about the voltage and then the total power draw. And as we can see here, we have the logging of the temps that are happening here. You can toggle here for logging or not, and you can choose also the time for logging all this information. The performance manager is if you want to quickly change the XMP profile, which I not recommend to do it using IQ. You can do it if you want, you can try, you can see if this is working for you, but I would highly recommend to use and to change these settings using the BIOS of your motherboard. It will be more precise, and you can change and you can tweak between a lot of settings. Here we have the alerts, if you want to trigger certain alerts or certain action depending on the temps on your memory, and the device settings for firmware update or for choosing between the brightness. So let me run a quick memory test to check how we're going to be the temp. Alright, I'm using OCCT as a test. You can use whatever other software. I would suggest you guys to use not only this method of testing the memory, but also the mem test. So this is a quick testing, but you can run also benchmark or stability test for checking the memory and everything else. If only one error is detected here, I would suggest you to review all your settings, because something that is not working properly. So let's run a quick benchmark just to check the temps. As we can see here guys, with this really quick test, with didn't detect any errors, but again, I will highly recommend to run a long test, at least 1 hour, so you are going to be sure that all the settings are okay. As we can see here, we have the temps, we can see it also here on IQ. For the memories who are on the side, we have 40 degrees, more or less 41 maybe, and the voltage is 1.4 volt. And on the memories who are in the middle between the other two sticks, we have a 2 degrees, I will say it's even 3 degrees more of temp. So the performances and the temperature here are more than okay for this is a stress test, but whatever, in games or other applications that you might use, these temps are more than okay and the memory is going to work perfectly. The Corsair Dominator DDR5 6600 C32 in this kit of 64 GB is the sweet spot of memory in basically any Intel build. Although they might work in AMD builds as well, but then you have to change manually some settings going through the BIOS and might not work as expected. The price isn't cheap, we are talking about $370, but for the performance and the build quality, I believe the price might be okay. Let me know in the comments down below if you have this memory and what do you think about it. If you find this video helpful, consider subscribing, hit the like button and don't forget to enable the notifications. Thanks a lot for your support and thanks for watching.